Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at the final episode of Dive, which would be episode 12, as well as the whole series, which I'll be viewing today's video. Now, I'm not afraid to admit that I like Free. I don't like it for the reasons I think most fangirls like it for. It's like, oh, it's got a whole bunch of attractive dudes. That's not my cup of tea. But I like this story for it. I thought that Free was a nice slice of life type competitive show. And there was actually some great animation to it, there was a good story to it, and just in general, it was a fun show. And I actually liked the opening and closing songs. I think they were good. People always give me flack for that. They're like, oh, dude, how can you like a show like that? Anime is anime. I think, you can like whatever the hell you want. You can like, I've never met anyone that likes Mars of Destruction, but if you love Mars of Destruction, who's going to care? That's up to you. If you like reverse harems, go for it. There's a few reverse harems I like. It has nothing to do with that. Now, will I watch stuff that's like, Yuri and Yaoi? No, I don't watch any of that stuff. That's not my cup of tea. Closest I ever got to that was Gravitation way back when, which I watched like several episodes of, and also Yuri and Ice, which Yuri and Ice was a great show besides that, but that's not my thing. But I don't knock people for watching stuff what they do. That's just, you watch what you want to watch. With Dive, that's the reason why I watched it was because several people asked me to do reviews for it, and I always try to have one show that even if I know is not going to do that well, it'll appeal to the people that I feel are really loyal subscribers of mine, and I want to review it for them. And I've known several people that are watching these reviews, and to the people that are watching this, listen, you guys and girls are amazing people. Really, thank you so much. This is the only reason I'm doing these reviews is for you. So, it's not because it's going to get popular. Trust me, none of these videos have been doing that well. I don't think the first one did that well, but and I got the first one out on time. It's just because I'm doing it for you guys, seriously. But this week's episode was actually a good way to kind of wrap up the season, or possibly series, but I'm going to say season, just in case. So we have Yoichi, who's been pushing himself nonstop with his special training, getting basically kind of hit with it all at once when he gets sick after doing one of his dives, which ended horribly. Luckily enough, he was able to recover after just getting some rest, and, for the most part, back to normal after that. But during that whole thing, we learned that the coach lady was actually going to stay. She's not going to America. She's actually going to send our kind of rugged dude he's going to go to America because obviously his back's been killing him. So what they plan on doing is they plan on sending him there to this doctor who apparently has been able to help several sports people and help them recover in Florida. So, that's where he's going soon. And I thought that was kind of nice. That was nice that she was going to stay because she really loves her team now and she cares about them. And she saw that especially when they all got pissed off at her, saying, "How can you just leave us after teaching us so much? And don't you want to be part of our team? I know we're not the best divers in the world, but no." She goes, "No, you misunderstood. I'm not going myself. That's him. He's going." By the way, I'm glad she's not going because she's like super attractive. I love that girl. Honestly, I wish she'd coach me and stuff too. Anyways, moving on from that, let's go back to the review. So, Dive ended pretty well, where we had all of our divers going out on the competition and all doing very well. In many ways, we saw the finale, who was going to win. I had a feeling that it was going to be our main character, Tomo. I really did. But they did a kind of false thing where at the end, you don't see any fanfare for him. You don't see how he did. Yoichi, we got a whole bunch of fanfare. We saw the father almost broke down and cried when he saw his son go up there and even told the crowd to shut up because they were chanting at him to just jump off and stuff. But he told him, "Shut up, my son's about to dive." And that was like the first time that I think he's ever shown like a true appreciation for his son diving. I thought that was really nice. But, then then Tomo goes up and nothing, we get his dive and that's it. But we find out from our coach lady that apparently he's going to be the representative for Japan during the Olympics, which is really cool. That is pretty badass. That could lead to a season 2 of Dive, which would be like a Olympic focus type thing. It could lead to an OVA or even a movie. I would think an OVA/movie would probably be the better way to go than a whole season 2 for Olympics, but it could work as a season 2, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind watching a second season. This show started off very poorly. Let's talk about the whole series, and I'll review it now. Dive started off where it was a clone of Free, and I said that with not myself. That was several dozen people who were watching Dive said that it was a clone of Free in the beginning, and I think it was trying too hard to kind of follow in Free's footsteps. But very quickly, do you see a shift from not just being a show about a bunch of friends trying to get closer acquainted with one another, or showing that how much they love a sport. it was really more about the competitive side of the things. I want to say like the competition aspect, because we see obviously Tomo, we see Yuichi going through various trials and tribulations. Tomo loses a girlfriend, for example, to his brother because of the fact that, you know, he's never around his girlfriend. He's always been focusing on diving now and try to better himself. So he sacrifices everything for that because he wants to dive and he loves it. He starts falling in love with the competition aspect of it. And meanwhile, Yuichi struggles from going from one of the better divers of the group to one of the worst ones because of the fact that he's letting his emotions kind of throw him off. He's letting jealousy play into effect. He's letting his own weakness play into it. And a lot of other things, his home life, etc. And this happens with several cast of characters in the show. It became a whole different show by episode like 4 or 5. The show shifted gears quite, considerably. Now, the problem with that is that it's great that it switched gears, so the story aspect of it, Dive gets better near the 5th episode, but has still some weaknesses here and there to the point that I can't say it was amazing, but I say it's good. It does its job, and I think that that's enjoyable in its own right, which is a good thing, but for a lot of people, if they quit after the 3rd episode, they're never going to see the story of Dive unfold, because they're going to be like, oh, this was horrible, I hated it, or so much like Free, etc. And I can't blame them if they think the first couple episodes are like Free, because the first episodes are like Free. Animation-wise, Dive takes a couple of nosedives. It looks pretty good sometimes, and then other times it's okay. It never really blew me away like Free, for example. Free had some of the most beautiful animation I've seen in an anime in a long time. And, A1 Pictures, I think, was the ones who did Free, and hopefully I'm right about that. But, you can clearly see they put some love into it by pouring money into just everything about it. They poured money into the water designs, they poured money into the characters. Dive, at times, looks good, and then other times looks mediocre, probably the best would be to say. The same can be said of the music. The music sometimes is really, action-packed. It's really good for melodrama when it happens. It's good for just the kind of setup and everything. And then sometimes it's like, it's generic music, it feels like. But the voice acting was solid. I had no issue with the voice acting. Everyone fit their roles really well from what I could tell. And I felt that way. But, that's coming from an English speaker to someone who's probably watching this in the native language Japanese is probably like, oh, that voice actor is terrible for this role. Is that? Because, we do that quite often with our voice actors and actresses. But meanwhile, I only presume that's also very true for the Japanese audience. So, for me, it's no issue, but for other people, it might be an issue. You never know. But overall, Free... Actually, see, I called it Free. I've done that like several times. I'm not going to quit this review because I'm at the end already. I've had to restart this review several times because of that. Dive, to me, has definitely been a show that has not been that great, but has not been that bad either. It's somewhere dead in the middle. If you look at my MAL right now, I think I have it as a 6. I might boost it up to a 7. I'm not sure about that. I might probably keep it at 6 because if I had to rate Dive between an A through F, I'm going to give it a solid C. I think it fits in that category nicely, and, it doesn't do anything that will blow you away, but if you can get past the first couple episodes, which are, I want to say, just generic episodes or almost mimics of the Free starting, you'll actually enjoy the show for the most part if you give it a chance. If you're someone who does not give shows like this a chance, or if you don't like competitive type shows like this, probably not going to like this show too much, or if you don't see the grander scheme of things, because so far the few people I've been watching some people's reviews of Dive, and I've been getting a lot of interesting feedback from the various viewers, because one thing I noticed with a lot of reviewers is they're seeing Clone of Free, obviously, and that's completely understandable, but they're not also seeing that the competition aspect. And I asked them, have you ever been a competitive sport, or have you ever tried a competitive sport? And a lot of them said no, and I think that they don't see the grander scheme of that. And that's not all their fault. It's kind of poor storytelling on Dive story, but at the same time, you have this concept of competition, which those who have been in sports, or those who really love sports, will completely understand why some of these characters are going through what they're going through, and it makes the story a lot better. And I think that's one of the things you can take away from this. So I would definitely say give Dive a kind of almost 5-episode test. I hate saying it that way because it's a 12-episode show, but if you can get past the 5th episode and you like it for the most part, you'll love the rest of the show, I think. If you can't, then you're not going to probably like it, but that's just me. Anyways, guys and girls, I would love to hear what you thought about this review, and as always, if you like this review, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, check out my Patreon for various rewards, and as always, guys and girls, I will see you when our paths cross again in the next review. God bless you all. Bye-bye, everyone.